Hiya folks and welcome to the warm-up. We're replacing the countdown to kickoff with the warm-up, which will be slightly earlier than the countdown to kickoff tended to be, to try and make sure we can get it out to more people and you can see it more often. There's some differences in this as well. We're going to go through the form guide as we normally would. We're going to talk about the head-to-head record of Leeds and Watford, and we're also going to look ahead to the team news, the statistics coming into this game, and also the likely formation. Daniel Farke talking about possible some changes, about not wanting to be predictable in the press conference. So we'll have a look at that and what I think he might do tonight. But I would love to know your thoughts on a lineup in the comments down below and your score predictions for the game. We had some wild score predictions on the matchday preview with Jerry McNamee and Andrew Stats Dalton. So I wonder will that trend continue. But let me know down in the comments what you think your score prediction will be and what you want to see from Leeds coming into this game and your formation lineup predictions. So we'll start off with the form guide, and Leeds sitting in third place in the league table right now, only 3 points off the top of the league. A win of 2 or more goals tonight will see Leeds go top of the table, depending on what Burnley do, and then before Sunderland play their match. 5 wins so far for Leeds United in the opening 10 games of the season. 4 draws in that time and just the 1 defeat. Leeds very much a side looking like they're coming into real form as we get into what will be a very busy period after Christmas, and will probably start to shape what this league table is going to look like later on. Leeds are 3 points better off than this point last season. They are significantly better off in terms of how close they are to the top 2 sides in the division. So if Leeds can go on that similar run that they went on last year, it looks good for Leeds, but they can't rest easy and they will need to be mindful of what Watford can bring to the table. Although Watford sitting in 8th place, 3 points behind Leeds, a win for them in Elland Road would actually be a huge result for them. They've not been great on the road. They've conceded 13 goals in their last 5 away games. But as I said, 8th in the table and only 3 points behind Leeds. So if a shock was to happen tonight, Watford could jump Leeds and drag Leeds back down. And unfortunately, do the opposite of what Leeds will hope tonight's game will do, and that's create a little bit of a gap between the top 3 sides and the teams outside of the top 6. From a Watford's perspective, they do have 5 wins so far this season, 1 draw and 4 losses. So their losses and draws are flip-flopped around from what Leeds have. And the head-to-head record is an interesting one. Leeds have a decent record, 11 wins in the last 29 games against Watford. Leeds unbeaten in their last 4 against the Hornets at Elland Road, 3 wins in that time. And the last defeat coming at the hands of Watford was back in 2016 in February, a 1-0 defeat at that point. But since then, Leeds have had the better of Watford in Elland Road. From a team news perspective, Daniel Farke, as I mentioned, did talk about not wanting to be predictable with Leeds. So we could see some slight tweaks. He has options now with Manor Solomon and Dan James back. And he might look to try and rest a couple of players. Maybe he might look at Brendan Aronson as a possible rest at the distance that Brendan has travelled, the amount of minutes he's played so far this season. He might want to keep an eye on them. He's unlikely to change the midfield too of Tanaka and Rothwell, despite Tanaka's distance that he's travelled 18,000 miles between Japan and back to get back for a man-of-the-match performance against Sheffield United. So big things expected of Rothwell and Tanaka against Watford. But outside of that, no real issues for Leeds United. Willie Gnonto with a slight shoulder injury. Daniel Farke said that he would look at it today before they made a decision on Gnonto, but is likely to be included in the team for tonight. He's been excellent for Leeds so far this season. A very mature looking Willie Gnonto that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, and he has been consistently very good for Leeds so far. Quieter against Sheffield United, but still involved in the game, still busy, and we haven't seen any of the more childish and youthful stuff we see from Willie around throwing his arms in the air, arguing with referees. He's getting on with the game and he's really starting to settle into this team, and he was the player of the month for last month, so long may that continue with Willie Gnonto. We're really starting to see the player that we thought we were getting when we brought him in last year. From a Watford's perspective, they're without a few, but they've got some players coming back. Jeremy Ngakia is out until after Christmas. Kevin Caban will be out until November with a bit of a hamstring issue. They have one late absenteeism, and that is Angelo Ogbonna, who was pulled out of the game with a hamstring problem. He was taken off the weekend in their defeat against Luton Town. Francisco Serralta will return for Watford in tonight's game, as will Dan Buchan. Both players coming back into their squad to give Tom Cleverley a little bit of a boost for the game tonight against Leeds. From the statistics point of view, we'll get into that now. We'll talk about what trends we want to continue or trends we want to book coming into this game. We'll start off with Leeds unbeaten in their last 4 league games against Watford, which is a great one to come into this. Watford had a 5-game unbeaten league run against Leeds at Elland Road between 2011 and 2015. They scored 16 times during that as well, but they've lost the last 2 at Elland Road without scoring a goal. Leeds are unbeaten in their last 8 home league games in midweek, winning 5 and drawing 3, keeping a clean sheet in each of their previous 3 3 matches. Clean sheets have very much been a staple of what Leeds have brought so far to the table this season. And we want to see that continue as long as we can. We saw a lovely moment between Illan Meslier, Joe Rodon and Pascal Struijk when they kept their clean sheet against Sheffield United. That partnership and that back line is really solid and strong, and we want to keep seeing that pushing forward. Watford haven't won a midweek game since November 2023 when they beat Norwich 3-2 at Vicarage Road. They're winless in 7 games on the road since then. And Leeds' Joel Perreault has scored 3 goals in his last 3 championship outings against Watford, and he scored in this exact fixture this time last year. And we all remember Daniel Farke taking the ball out of the air in his first touch and dragging it behind him was also in this fixture last season. So Joel Perreault's in good form for Leeds so far. 4 goals already this season. Lovely assist for Mateo Joseph's goal at the weekend as well. And nice to see a partnership there as a plan B option for Daniel Farke when he opted to go 2 up top against Sheffield United and not the usual 6 men up top, and we'll see what happens. It was more structured and far better to look at as well. From a predicted team lineup, I've gone for this. I reckon the only likely change in this, if he doesn't go with the same lineup, which is very likely that he will do that, but I do think there's an opportunity here for him possibly to give Brendan Aronson a little bit of a rest and drop him to the bench and maybe bring in Larry Ramazani in that number 10 position where he did play when Aronson went off against Sheffield United, and he looked really, really solid in that position. So for me, I am going for Illan Meslier in goal, full-backs of Jayden Bogle Jr. Firpo, centre-back pairing of Struijk and Rodon. Midfield 2 of Rothwell and Tanaka, keen and excited to see what they can do in this game as well. Wide players for me, Willie Gnonto and Manor Solomon, Largy Ramazani in the number 10 for me, and then Joel Perreault starting up top. In reserves, Darlow, Byram, Schmidt, DeBayo, Crew, Aronson, James, Joseph and Bamford. It's a nice, strong looking bench for Leeds United, so if they do have to change things up, they've got some really, really good options, and we're exciting to see that again, isn't it? It's a really exciting bench. It means Leeds have got real game-changing options should they decide to change it. Daniel Farke will very likely go at an unchanged side. But you've got those opportunities to bring Solomon and James on if you want to replace Ramazani and Gnonto at any point, or take Aronson off, put Gnonto in the 10. Equally, he's been very good in there for me as well. So lots and lots and lots of options for Daniel Farke tonight. And for me, I think a 2-0 win for Leeds United in this game, and we continue that momentum forward into what should be an easier run of games before the next international break. But let me know what you think in the comments. For me, the midfield battle will be key again. I've been really excited what we saw from Tanaka and Rothwell. If we can get similar performance from them in this game, it could be a very good night for Leeds United. Want to see some goals from the wide players as well. Want to see Willie Gnonto get back on the score sheet and moving again. But Joel Perreault in the number 9 position for me has been very good, in the slight change of Leeds system recently for me suits the man down to the ground and has been a major part, I think, in the goals that have come for him so far. As long as he's facing the goal, we know what Joel Perreault can do. There's always question marks around his first touch and the stuff he does when he drops deeper, and you do sacrifice the work ethic you get from Mateo Joseph with Joel Perreault, but he can't score goals when he gets a chance. And we did see when he didn't score, he gave a fantastic assist, beautiful weighted pass from Mateo Joseph, and not the first time this year that we've seen him do that pass as well. So yeah, it's all come together quite nicely. We want to have a good result. We don't want to come out of this with negativity after a dodgy result here. We want to have a very strong result, and hopefully Leeds can do that. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll be back in the morning for the team news, for the daily news, and then we'll have some form of review in the evening as a live stream tomorrow as well, so you can check that out later on tomorrow evening. Enjoy the game, fingers crossed for 3 points, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.